Welcome, everyone. So glad you're all here, whether you're here in person or joining us on our live stream. Welcome to all of us. And right now, if you're able, why don't we stand and we'll sing our way into the day.
Blessed day, I am thankful, grateful heart, I am whole. Glory be to the power of this mind that I know. So full praise to the wonder, freedom, sing a joyful song. Calling love to the center, lifting all is one. I'll sing it now, so it is anything a dream. It is singing now, so it is think bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free. Blessed day, I am thankful, grateful heart, I am whole. Glory be to the power of this mind that I know. So full praise to the wonder, freedom, sing a joyful song. Calling love to the center, lifting all is one. I sing it now, so it is anything I dream. It is singing out, so it is think bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free. I sing it now, so it is anything I dream. It is singing now, so it is think bigger now, so it is. I'm holding this vision of peace, knowing a world of harmony. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free. Calling love to the center, lifting all, we are free. Well, good morning, everyone. Nice to see your faces. Take a minute to greet some of those neighbors out there.
Yeah, we do. Time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome
Well, we would like to invite any of our kids who are here with us today to join our teachers up at the stage, and we will sing them out to their classrooms. Maybe just go. Hooray for the world, we're glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and the open seas, mountains and valleys and animals too, and a sun that shines on me and you. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. Got Mother Nature and the human race. Got Mother Nature and the human race.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Cindy Clay. I'm a practitioner here, and I am serving today along with Susan, wherever Susan went. There she is. All right. So just a reminder to silence your cell phones, and also an invitation to talk to any of us wearing a stole like this. We love to pray. So if you are in need of affirmative prayer, we're the ones to give it to you. And you can also put in a prayer request at the website. And there's a little jar at the back that we call the prayer vessel. You can write out a prayer request. So many ways to get support, and we're glad you're here. So if you'll just join me in an opening prayer. I am so aware of the presence and the power of love today. And so just breathe in with me that awareness of that beautiful love that fills this space, fills our hearts. It's such a blessing to be in community together in all our diversity, all our magnificence. And so together, let's hear the message and sing the songs and welcome in that healing presence into our hearts so that we can take it out into the world. I say thank you, sweet Spirit, and so it is.
So it is.
I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender.
love. I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love. I am standing on the edge, leaning out with every breath. I am longing for something more. The path isn't clear, but I see a door. Awe and wonder to be found. I'm setting out for sacred ground. There's a stirring, a fire in me. Oh, blessed light, oh, mystery. Sing through my voice, play through my hands. Let the way be open. Sing through my voice, play through my hands. Let the way be open. I am standing on the edge, leaning out with every breath. I am longing for something more. The path isn't clear, but I see a door. Awe and wonder to be found. I'm setting out for sacred ground. There's a stirring, a fire in me. Oh, blessed light, oh, mystery. Sing through my voice, play through my hands. Let the way be open. Sing through my voice, play through my hands. Let the way be open. Sing through my voice. Sing through my voice, play through my hands. Let the way be open. Sing through my voice, play through my hands. Let
Thank you very much. We love to have that moment right after a song like that where you're just sort of feeling that. But then we want to say thank you. So good. Well, welcome again. The topic today is opening to possibility, and it's the last of a series of talks about the three elements. And the three elements have to do with the things that catch us up on the spiritual path. So the first one is impermanence. And if you're like most people, you just don't like it. And me included. I did have one of those revolutionary moments a long time ago about impermanence. Joe and I, when we lived in California, were river rafters. And so we were rafting down one of the rivers. I don't remember which one. And there was a dead deer on the side of the river that had been there a while, and there were a lot of turkey vultures visiting it. And, that's gross in my view, but not in Joe's, who, is much more of a scientist than I am. And I said, ew, gross. And he's like, well, if they didn't do that, we'd be knee deep in carnage. And I was like, well, there's a perspective. So impermanence is something that if we're not careful can actually create a lot of trouble for us, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. The second one is because of impermanence, we have a lot of suffering and dissatisfaction because we don't like it, and so we suffer. And then the last one is when those two things happen, we start to try to have a fixed sense of self. And I don't know if you've noticed, but actually that doesn't work very well. And when we try to have things fixed like that, I don't know about you, but eventually what happens is first we get kind of the nudge from spirit or whatever you want to call that, like, come on, you're not supposed to be just the same old, same old, same old. You're supposed to be growing, you're supposed to be evolving. And if we don't listen, which unfortunately is a habit of mine, maybe not you, then the 2 by 4 comes out. And it's like, okay, you're not listening. Bam, let's have some change right now. And so I've learned to listen better, and it's worth listening. So today what I wanted to talk about is when these three things begin to drop away a little bit, what happens is vulnerability, which is a Brene Brown word, right? How many of you have watched Brene Brown? If you haven't, you really need to go and listen to her TED Talks. They're great. But vulnerability in this sense is the open door to what she calls the pathway to innovation, creativity, and inspiration. And that, of course, is true. If you've had the 2 by 4 experience, you know that past the pain of that and the change that it invokes, there's this whole opening into newness, into being in new ways. It's fabulous. But tell that to your old self that doesn't really want to change. So remembering that this change is not just random. It's not meant to just be like, well, keep changing just because, but rather there's an impetus within each of us, we believe in the science of mind tradition, an impetus not only toward evolution and growth, but a specialized for each of us. That, your being here in this time, in this body, in this set of circumstances is not random, but rather part of the path that you're walking to unfold and become more of your truest nature. That's what we think. And so I wanted to talk about the challenges that the three elements bring, and then kind of why those are challenges. So I actually was reading a story by Picasso, and I brought it to you because I had never heard this story before, but it's so Picasso, if you know anything about him. He certainly wasn't stuck in a fixed way of art. And so the story goes that someone once told Picasso that he ought to make pictures of things the way they are, objective pictures. And when Picasso said he didn't understand, the man produced a picture of his wife from his wallet and said, "There, you see, that is a picture of how she really is." And Picasso looked at it and said, "She's rather small, isn't she?" And kind of flat. And so it actually doesn't work very well for us sometimes to be just fixated on what things are. And this kind of open-minded view of the world, while we may not see things kind of slanted and stuff like the cubism that Picasso was famous for, what we can do is embrace a mature spirituality. And I think many of you are there. And that spirituality has as a hallmark kind of an open-minded quality in which we're empowered and discover what's sacred and true for us. So it's not following the map that's been laid out by a particular religious organization, but rather is following the internal compass that I talk about, where we're actually mature enough to realize that our spiritual lives are up to us, and that we need to pay attention to what is resonant within us in terms of living a spiritual life, and then follow that, because that's part of that unique pathway that we're meant to walk in this life. And what I've noticed is that there are two things that get in the way of that. Well, there's actually a lot, but the two that I'm going to talk about today have to do with these two stories I brought you. Would you like to hear them? They're from one of my favorite funny monks. He's a monk in the same tradition that Jack Kornfield was, but he's from Australia, and his name is Ajahn Brahm, and he has a book called "Who Ordered This Truckload of Dung?" So, just the title itself tells you where we're going. And these two stories have to do with the two things that I think are really roadblocks to letting go of our fear of impermanence and suffering, and therefore creating a fixed sense of self. So he's telling a story about when his order started in Australia, and there wasn't a monastery. They had to build it. And so they didn't even have anywhere to sleep, so they went to the salvage yard and bought a bunch of doors and slept on doors, and he got the lumpy one. So he says, "We were poor monks who needed buildings. We couldn't afford to employ a builder. The materials were expensive enough. So I had to learn how to build, how to prepare the foundations, lay the concrete and bricks, erect the roof, put in the plumbing, the whole lot. I had been a theoretical physicist and a high school teacher in lay life, not used to working with my hands. After a few years, I became quite skilled at building, even calling my crew the BBC, Buddhist Building Company. But when I started, it was very difficult. It may look easy to lay a brick. A dollop of mortar underneath, a little tap here, a little tap there. But when I began laying bricks, anybody lay bricks? So you know. I'd tap one corner down to make it level, and another corner would go up. So I'd tap that corner down, then the brick would move out of line. After I'd nudged it back into line, the first corner would be too high again. You try it, he says. Being a monk, I had patience and as much time as I needed. I made sure every single brick was perfect, no matter how long it took. Eventually, I completed my first brick wall and stood back to admire it. It was only then that I noticed, oh no, I missed 2 bricks. All the other bricks were nicely in line, but these 2 bricks were inclined at an angle. They looked terrible. They spoiled the whole wall. They ruined it. By then, the cement mortar was too hard for the bricks to be taken out, so I asked the abbot if I should just knock the wall down and start over again, or even better, maybe blow it up. I'd made a mess of it and I was very embarrassed. The abbot said no, the wall had to stay. When I showed our first visitors around our fledgling monastery, I always tried to avoid taking them past my brick wall. I hated anyone seeing it. And then one day, some 3 or 4 months after I finished it, I was walking with a visitor and he saw the wall. "That's a nice wall," he casually commented. "Sir," I replied in surprise, "have you left your glasses in your car? Are you visually impaired? Can't you see those 2 bad bricks which spoil the whole wall?" "Well," he said. What he said next changed my whole view of that wall, of myself, and of many aspects of my life. He said, "Yes, I can see those 2 bad bricks, but I can see the 998 good bricks as well." I was stunned. So, a lot of times the impediment to our being able to let go of a fixed sense of ourselves is the impediment of where we're focusing. When we focus on the 2 bad bricks of our own wall, we have one experience. When we focus on the 998 other ones, we have a different experience. Do you mind if I share that story that you told me? Great. Cindy is, as you may know, is quite a presenter. And she was teaching at the University of Washington. And after every class, there would be an evaluation form. And 29 of the students in her class, the grading was 1 to 5, 5 being the best. And 29 of them checked 5 on every category, because she's really good at what she does. You may have noticed. And one student checked all 1s. And Cindy said, "At first I thought he'd gotten it wrong and got it reversed." Sort of a dyslexic move, until she read the comments and realized, no, he didn't get it wrong. For him, it was real bad class. And she could have, I don't remember what she actually did, but she could have focused on the 1. I don't know if you've done that. I have. I've focused on the one thing that I've gotten in a review, the one person who says that was the worst talk you've ever given, which I haven't heard lately, but I have in the past, and forget all the other ones. And so maybe for you, as it is true for me, the focus has to shift to what we're doing right rather than what we're doing wrong. You may or may not know that I had a mother that was way less critical than her mother, but way critical. And so when I started in this philosophy and I started changing my focus to what was right rather than what was wrong, my mother was horrified. She said, "Well, how are you ever going to grow if all you focus on is the good?" Like, what do you say to your mother when she says something like that? I was young enough that I was like, stunned, and I finally came back around and I said, "Mom, you remember when you said that?" I said, for me personally, focusing on what I'm doing wrong has not gotten me very far. Focusing on what I'm doing right allows me to pay attention to what I'm doing right so that the things that aren't going as right can be moved into a new place. It's a very powerful lesson, and you too will probably be accused of being a Pollyanna. I don't know if you remember that story, but seeing the good in everything instead of seeing the awfulness of it all. But I can tell you that from my perspective on the spiritual path, it's never worked for me to focus on what's awful. It's good to know about the quicksand over there or the monsters over here as I'm walking the path. It's not ignorance, but rather focus. All right, we know those things are true. We don't have to demonize them. We don't have to make them so wrong that our whole focus is about that. And if you think I'm talking about politics, you're right. Think about it. There's a focus that we can get into that's deliberately cultivated often by those who would make money on us from different sources of information. And there's a focus that we can embrace, whereas we see But we don't need to dwell in those places. You know, there's a very famous psalm that goes, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." Well, one of my teachers used to say, "Yea, though I walk through the valley." You don't build a condo there. And so it's important to notice when we're sort of constructing a reality in the shadow, in the fear, and take steps to shift it. So that's the first thing. The second story from Ajahn Brahm is harder for some people to hear because, again, if you had a mother like me, it might sound like, what? But this is about, it's called the Temple Garden. And, we've just had a house guest who just got back from Japan. And he was absolutely stunned by the gardens in Japan. They're just incredibly cultivated, very, very beautiful. So this is about a garden in Japan. Many years ago, there was one temple that was said to have the most beautiful garden of all. Travelers would come from all over the country just to admire its exquisite arrangement, so rich in its simplicity. An old monk once came to visit. He arrived very early, just after dawn. He wanted to discover why this garden was considered the most inspiring, so he concealed himself behind a large bush with a great view of the rest of the garden. He saw a young gardening monk emerge from the temple carrying 2 wicker baskets. For the next 3 hours, he watched the young monk carefully pick up every leaf and twig that had fallen from the spreading plum tree in the center of the garden. As he picked up each leaf and twig, the young monk would turn it over in his soft hand, examine it, ponder over it, and if it was to his liking, he would delicately place it in one of the baskets. If it wasn't to be of use to him, he would drop it in the second basket, the rubbish basket. Having collected and thought over every leaf and twig, having emptied the rubbish basket on the pile at the rear of the temple, he paused to take tea and compose his mind for the next crucial stage. The young monk spent another 3 hours, mindfully, carefully, skillfully, placing every leaf and twig just in the right place in the garden. If he wasn't satisfied with the position of a twig, he would turn it slightly or move it forwards a little bit until, with a light smile of satisfaction, he would move on to the next leaf, choosing just the right shape and color for its place in the garden. His attention to detail was unparalleled. His mastery over the arrangement of color and shape was superb. His understanding of natural beauty was sublime. You can see where this is going. Then the old monk stepped out from behind his bush. Wearing a broken-toothed smile, he congratulated the young gardening monk. Well done indeed, Venerable. I've been observing you all morning. Your diligence is worthy of the highest of praise. And your garden is almost perfect. The young monk's face went white. His body stiffened as if he'd been stung by a scorpion. His smile of self-satisfaction slipped from his face and tumbled into the great chasm of the void. In Japan, you can never be sure of old grinning monks. Well, what do you mean? He stuttered through his fear. What do you mean, almost perfect? And he prostrated himself at the old monk's feet. Oh, master, oh, teacher, please release your compassion on me. You have surely been sent by the Buddha to show me how to make my garden really perfect. Teach me, O wise one. Show me the way. Do you really want me to show you the way? Said the old monk, his ancient face creased with mischief. Oh, yes, please do. Oh, please, master. So the old monk strode into the center of the garden. He put his old but still strong arms around that leafy plum tree, and then with the laugh of a saint, he shook the hell out of that tree. Leaves, twigs, and bark fell everywhere, and still the old monk shook that tree. When no more leaves would fall, he stopped. The young monk was horrified. The garden was ruined. The whole morning's work was wasted. He wanted to kill the old monk. But the old monk merely looked around him, admiring his work, and then with a smile that melts anger, he said gently to the young monk, "Now your garden is really perfect." So the second thing that will stop us from letting ourselves evolve and open and move with impermanence is rigidity and perfectionism. Now, I know none of you have that. But it's a nice reminder when we're around people like that to understand that there's something that's fearful that's going on behind that there's a need for control. And for me, I totally understand that. When we begin to realize that impermanence is a rule around here, there's a tendency, if we're not careful, to want to control the conditions so that we're not stricken by the impermanence that's going to happen. We have some illusion that we can control things in such a way that it will only change as we allow it to. Has that worked for you? Hasn't worked for me. I've tried. I recently tried. In the last 2 years, I've tried. So it's not like a long ago phenomena. It's very tempting to think that if we could just line the people of our life up in a certain way, if we could just get our children to do a certain thing, if we could just do the perfect and right thing all the time, everything would be okay and we would feel safe. And I'm not making fun of that, because that's a genuine feeling. It just doesn't work very well. Like the young monk, we can make it happen for quite a while, and it takes an enormous amount of our energy to do that. So the old monk's lesson was a lesson in letting go and letting things be, not just randomly like, okay, walking away from everything, but rather letting things fall and then moving with that. It's a really tough lesson for a lot of us. And it's tough, I'll tell you why it's tough in the science mind philosophy is people go, well, then I'm not supposed to do anything, right? I'm just supposed to let everything fall, so I'll just spend all my money and not pay attention to balancing my checkbook, and they go on from there. I'm like, no, that's not that teaching. The teaching is rather looking inside to notice, are we trying to control our circumstances from a place of fear? And if we are, then we can do some prayer work. As Cindy mentioned, we can work with what is driving that fear. Because often behind that fear that's made us try to control conditions is really something that, when we focus on it, helps us to evolve by healing it. For me, I was raised by accountants. They were actually incredibly great people. But they, in their early life, were poor. And so what drove our family dynamics when I was little was not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough. And so the control was about money and about having enough. And so, they didn't take it to excess, but they took it far enough so that I then, as a young adult, was still being driven by that. Until it was pointed out to me on the spiritual path, well, what is enough? What is enough for you? And I had to ask that question, well, what is enough for me? And so it's an opportunity whenever we catch ourselves trying to control things to look at what's driving that. Because once we know and once we've worked with that, we free ourselves up to once again encounter impermanence with vulnerability without allowing it to cause such great suffering that we try to close down and we're only noticing what's bad, and we're only trying to control things so that we won't feel frightened and out of control. So the good news for me was that the science mind, then and now, is an incredible philosophy that teaches us how to live fluidly in the world, how to open to the possibilities that are always around us. One of my favorite teachings in the science of mind is that the past is not a precedent for today. Just because something's happened in our past doesn't mean that it needs to happen now. It's just so clear. And the other thing that, the teaching that really, besides that one, really hit me where I needed to be hit was the whole way this works is first we have, it's a word I had never heard before encountering the science mind. First we have involution, meaning that we involve ourselves with ideas. And then we have evolution out of that. So what we dwell upon then becomes more and more our reality. That focus thing becomes incredibly important. What are we dwelling on? What are we involving ourselves with? What are the ideas that are circulating in us? And are they life-giving? Are they fear-free? Are they courageous? Are they open to new ideas, new possible ways of seeing the world and being in the world and showing up? And if they are, then chances are good we're on the right track in terms of moving forward. If they're not, then what happens is we begin to experience the same old, same old, same old. And eventually that 2x4 out of the middle of nowhere will be visiting us, because sacred humans are not meant to stay the same. So I'll do a treatment for that, affirmative prayer, and we'll move into our day. Right now, right here, I'm speaking to the parts of myself that are still in a position of wanting comfort and security and safety, and because of that are seeking to stay the same. So I know for myself and these parts that that's actually not possible. That the way this whole reality is structured is that we change. I change. You change. We change. Our bodies change. Our minds change. Our circumstances change. And that's just the nature of reality here. And so the parts of me that would like to cling to how things have been and how I've been and how it should be, I now release. I let them go. I encourage them to open to what is true, which is that change is a constant reality and that it's not bad, that actually it's deeply refreshing and the doorway to creativity, innovation, newness, vibrancy, health. And because there is a divine energy that is flowing through all things, and certainly never stays the same, but is always and ever seeking to evolve itself by means of all of us, I embrace that divine energy to assist these parts of me to let go and open. As I do this, what I know is that my entire experience is refreshed. There is a sense of vibrancy that I've been looking for, a sense of energy that's renewed and able to carry me into new possibilities. My mind is open, and so new ideas begin to circulate and flow. I involve myself with those new ideas, and my reality begins to shift and open. And I recognize that the changes that are occurring are actually exactly what I needed. I am in the right place at the right time to allow those things, and I do. And I'm grateful that the universe and my sacred self are geared in this way so that as I involve myself with newness, newness becomes a way of refreshing, vitalizing, energetic flow in my life. So grateful for that. Grateful that it's true for me and for each of us. And so it is. Thank you. All right, we are going to invite the ushers to come forward. And if you're able to give a donation to our ushers, to the center by means of these baskets, we deeply appreciate it. I know that many of you already give through the mail and through regular tithing. Thank you for all of that. And I know that you've created a place by means of all that you offer. Thank you. Yes, pass it to the next row down.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day for love. Thank you for this love, Spirit. Thank you for this love. Thank you for this love, Spirit. Thank you for this love. This healing, this healing, this healing love. This healing, this healing, this healing love for peace. Thank you for this peace, Spirit. Thank you for this peace. Thank you for this peace, Spirit. Thank you for this peace. This healing, this healing, this healing peace. This healing, this healing, this healing peace. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
So we have some announcements. First of all, I want to thank the Gourmets for Good people who did the My Man Godfrey last Sunday, and Rana and Kathy for hosting their wonderful clam thing. Thank you all. How many of you went to those? Yes, very popular, very good. Thank you so much. And if you're new with us, what this is we do this huge fundraiser where people volunteer to make a dinner or a lunch, or my group's going to Susha this coming Saturday, and we asked for people to bid for a place at the table, and it raised almost $17,000 this year. So thank you. Very good. I also want to, and thank you to everyone who helped with the walrus and came. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, really good. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Rylan. Thank you, everyone. So this announcement is a new one for us. So if you're new, you may not know that I've been here 13 years, and at the end of this year, December 31st, I'm going to retire from ministry. And I wanted the community to have a long time to get used to that idea, and also for our board and our leadership team to have time to do adequate planning and to know what to do next. And so what's happened is the transition core team met, and they are going to begin giving updates the first Sunday of every month. They're going to come and they're going to talk about what's happening right now so that you all are informed about how we're progressing toward that transition. So next Sunday will be our first report, and it'll be a little bit longer than most of them. We think most of them will be kind of short, but this one we want to kind of give you the frame of how things are, how we're doing that and what's happening and all that. So be sure to either tune in on live stream or come Sunday, and you'll hear that right before the announcements. And you saw Eva, she's thinking about becoming one of our teachers, but if there's anyone else that is interested in becoming a paid part-time teacher for our children's outdoor program, do talk to me. It's a lovely job, very, very part-time though, and it is on Sundays. So it's not for everybody, but we're hoping that there's some special people that will work with our kiddos. And then Christy Mosley was at our Mind, Body, Spirit Fair. She's been a friend of the center for a long time, and she's doing a benefit for the center in the Lower Meadow on August 18th. And so you can get tickets at her website, and the tents that you see out here are going to come down today, except for the one in the Lower Meadow, which is where she'll be holding the sound healing journey for anyone who wants to experience that. And so also Joe came early and took the tractor out, and I know he's got 3 people who are helping him take these tents down, but if you can stay and help him get those down and get them stashed away, he would love a couple more people right after the service. There we go. I said it already. So we're ready, if you're able, to stand, and we'll sing our way into lovely coffee time, tent taking down, and the rest of whatever your day is.
Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I will shine. I am an instrument of peace. Let's sing, make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I will shine. I am an instrument of peace. Let's sing, I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. Sing it out. I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. So wonderful to see you all today. We'll see you again soon. Enjoy this day.